Team 6 Scenario 220 Report by Jacob Novella, Joseph P., Jacob B., and Mitchell Gross. Delegation of task: Jacob Bill, History Graph and Inventory Management; Jacob Novella, Product Order and Inventory Management; Joseph P., Sales Tracking and Price Adjustment; and myself, Mitchell Gross, Company Strategist. Overview of simulation. What's new? What's the sim about? The simulation is where we as a team put our theoretical analysis to the test to see a variety of things, such as effectiveness as a strategy developing team, the relationship between price and product production as we have determined, how manageable our inventory systems are we practicing EBT increasing growth strategies, do our planning meetings correspond with our simulation scenarios? If not, how can we modify them to do so?
Okay, our main objectives from our 220 planning spreadsheet. We wanted to adjust the pricing as our demand fluctuated. We wanted to focus and increase alley cat production and price in the warmer months, so April to August. We wanted to keep a consistently higher price for Taj Mahal throughout the year. Additionally, we wanted to minimize loss of sales from Edgar as our production was fixed and have an EBT that was over 210,000. So here's some of the spreadsheet that we did. As you can see, we kept Taj Mahal at a very high and fixed price for most of the year, only dropping it down in October and November to introduce and reinforce the sales of Edgar Ale a lot more effectively. Additionally, you can also see that for Alley Cat, we raised the prices in between those summer months, like we talked about, between April and August, reaching a high of $17.50 in August, and we drastically lowered the price of Alley Cat as demand diminished slightly. We probably could have adjusted our production a little bit more looking back at this in hindsight, increasing the production in those prime months, but we rectified those in later scenario planning. Also, as stated, production for Edgar was pretty much fixed. We did increase the prices of Edgar in the summer months, just because we were not selling nearly as much. So we wanted to make up for our lack of sales with a higher price to at least try to break even. And in this case, we didn't lose any sales. We did beat our goal of a $210,000 EBT. We beat that by 13,671.
So our 220 results, our EBT was only 111,000, which was difference of 98,000 from our targeted EBT in the planning spreadsheet. From our actual planning spreadsheet, the EBT was 102,000. We did a total of 2 million in revenue for the year, and our scenario cost of goods sold, however, was 1.2 million, with expenses totaling 642,000. After everything was said and done, we only had a net income of around 30,000. So
here's just some of the charts that we generated from our scenario 220. Here's our pie chart detailing the quantity sold per month. Column chart. This is our pie chart detailing the total quantity sold per ale. Obviously, Alley Cat's a big, major demographic. And here's our line graph also showing the spike in production for Alley Cat in those summer months in our months versus total quantities line graph.
So what changed between the scenario spreadsheet and the actual scenario? So the differences, we were weren't diligent with our strategy during the simulation due to inexplicable reasons. During our scenario, we should have amped up our production and inventory reserves much higher than we did. In favoring Alley Cat, which we could have produced more of and raised its prices, we were neglectful of our two other beers. So for our conclusion, our summary of the difference between initial plan and execution: if we were to do it over again, we believe that price would play a much more important role in the process. Producing more to avoid stockouts would be our other main focus of improvement. Paying attention to the seasonality of our products would have been beneficial to us, as well as because although we had Alley Cat as a heavy hitter in the summer month, we failed to push Edgar as much as we could. Finally, we would have worked harder to dramatically increase our EBT on our planning spreadsheet as a tool to indirectly increase our simulation EBT. Sure.